just under 2.5 minutes. Forgive me if I'm focused, Minister. There's a lot I'd like to say about the occupied territories, but I'm going to confine myself to the 6 human rights organisations that have been designated as terrorist organisations. And from my calculations, it's now 6 weeks. And other than expressing concern, we've done little else. While I have never doubted your bona fides, we have done little else in 6 weeks. And the latest step has been from the military commander clarifying to the organisations if they wish to appeal, then they must stop functioning as human rights organisations immediately. So I think it's time we did something more than concern. And of course, this didn't happen overnight. It's happened because the Israeli government have got away with a succession of acts that they should never have been allowed to get away with. And if we look at the culmination of the year in relation to the proceedings before the International Court, there was a number of different issues during that year. It started with February 2021, pre-trial chamber ruled on the jurisdiction, which obviously didn't please the Israeli government. I make a distinction always between the Israeli government and the Jewish people. And then in October 2021, we learned that the new prosecutor and his office confirmed that it was taking up the file again and the investigation would be mobilised. And then we get the designation and we get the extra step from the military commander. And prior to that, of course, we had the phones infiltrated and a surveillance operation mounted. Prior to that, if we go back, we can take any number of years, but in the interest of brevity, in 2016, the Israeli Parliament adopted the NGO disclosure law to force Israeli NGOs to disclose funding sources, which had a chilling effect on donations. In 2017, Israel enacted an amendment to the Entry to Israel law, barring human rights workers who advocate for Palestine from entering. In 2018, the Israeli Ministry of Strategic Affairs called on the EU to cease donating to or funding human rights organisations. I could go on, but I won't. My time is limited. We have any amount of concern and condemnation expressed by different groups, but I'd like to just zone in on the Israeli organisations. We have the Israeli newspaper, Hearts, I think is how you pronounce it, calling the decision to designate the 6 organisations as a stain upon Israel, and said the outlawing of human rights groups and the persecution of humanitarian activists are quintessential characteristics of military regimes in which democracy, in its deepest sense, is a dead letter. The human rights groups issued, 21 of them issued a joint statement against the designation, calling them draconian measures. I'm over my time. As I'm always given out, I'll stop on time. But, Minister, it is time to take action as opposed to continue to express concern. Garmagd.